I'm Xandra, and welcome to the scene, a place where you'll be saluted, educated, empowered, and nurtured. If you haven't, make sure you go like and follow us on all platforms. And we are so excited to be here today. I'm excited because I have one of my favorite guests. He's also a sponsor, but I have Mr. Dwight Calhoun from STEM University. Say hi to everybody, Dwight.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to be back.
You know what? We're gonna have a little fun with today's show. So what I'm doing, I don't even think I told Dwight what I'm doing today. So he just came because he's here to support. But we as women, there are some questions that we would like to for men to answer. So he just doesn't. Well, he knows now, but he's gonna answer those questions for us.
As best as I can.
Okay, but first of all, Dwight, let's
Uh,
learn a little about you for those who haven't met you yet. But he's a regular on the show. You
I-
because he's so supportive and he believes in helping the sisters and supporting sisters and anybody, women of color. He just supports us, so that's why he's always here. So tell us a little about yourself, Mr. Dwight.
well, first of all, I'm Dwight Calhoun, president of STEM University International. That's a STEM school that I'm presently constructing over in Ghana, West Africa. Also, the CEO of Mr. Cardiotone Enterprises, where most people know me as a dance fitness guy slash kind of sort of DJ,
Oh, he's
MC.
good. You did real good, Dwight.
I'm very active in the community. I rather for you guys to see me in the community in opposed to seeing me on television. So if you don't see me on television, I'm in the community. So presently, I'm working with the mentorship program, Men Act This Way.
Okay.
So we're teaching young men entrepreneurship besides chess, golf, and some other activities. But I personally go and do the entrepreneurship program,
Okay.
working with about 300 kids in that program. I'm about to join the NAACP, working with the Youth Entrepreneurship Program.
Oh, I love that.
We're starting a STEM program in LaGrange, starting next month.
And that would be LaGrange, Georgia, for those
LaGrange,
of you who
Georgia.
don't know.
LaGrange,
Okay.
Georgia. So that's pretty much it on this side of Dwight Calhoun.
Okay, that's interesting. See, he's doing it, ain't he, ladies? I love what you do. Also, you forgot to mention this other group that you are a part of. You can't
Okay. I'm
forget
sorry.
that one.
Yeah, we're formulating a group called the Elite Group, and it's about people that wants to make their business fairy tales come true. So we help you take it step by step and make sure we take you from the beginning to the end to make sure that your business is up and running, and you also falling into a network of people that want to achieve and network with one another.
Okay, yeah, because he's a co-founder,
I am.
and I'm actually a board member, and I'm one of the people that he's helping. So I will have them on here because if you have a business, they are excellent. So they have been helping me so much, and we'll talk about that. But I have to. I think I'll invite the founders, and I'll let them tell
Yeah,
you more about that. But like I
yeah.
said, he'll be around all the time.
I am.
But
I am.
today we're just gonna ask him some questions. And I also asked questions of you all out there. So I did get some responses. And I may be able, if we have time permitting, I may be
Sure,
able to
sure,
read one of
sure.
the responses.
Uh-huh.
But we're just talking about relationships and how we feel like men think differently from women. So first question, and I'll answer those questions for you too. But first question we wanted to know is we're going to talk about marriage. Do you still believe in marriage? He's married, but or do you think the idea of marriage is antiquated?
No, no. It's everybody wants to be married.
You
Whether or
really
not
think
how,
so?
yeah,
Okay, no,
yeah.
okay, okay,
As
well,
far as the
okay.
most part, sometimes we look at. I think sometimes we take on the narrative of what we see Hollywood marriage and people breaking up, but on the regular people level,
Okay.
men we want to be married and women want to be married. It's just a matter of how we talked about relationship. The word is relate. Now, I think we've fallen out of context with relating to one another. because sometimes we don't necessarily want to come down that middle road. Say, well, I want this type of man, I want this type of woman, but we never really seriously have a genuine conversation about what are our roles. I think it's
Okay.
more so roles now with so
I'm
much
glad you
things
said that because
changing
that's
now.
one of
Is
my questions.
that's
But
the
go ahead.
conflict more so than relationships. We have relationships whether it's good or bad, but now it's a conflict with the roles. Women say, well, we want more of this role. Men say, well, don't you know we still want to be the man in the house? So that's a conflict, and it's causing a lot of turmoil. And but at the same time, it's also mending and allowing people to have an open conversation, which I think is good.
You know what? He's so good because that was one of the questions. And how do you feel about it? The question is, do you think a man should be head of the household?
Yeah, I do, and here's why. For this framework of relationships of family has been going on for millions of years. Now all of a sudden we say, well, time has changed, and more we think time has changed. Now it's creating more gaps, and not necessarily when women hear submission and all that, they look at a slave, and I
Yes.
think it's the perception of what when men think they want a woman that be cooperative and work with them, they say, well, I got to put aside my life. It's not about that. Prime example, years ago when we talked about a strong black woman, even that perception is totally different from when we thought about a strong black woman. Years ago, when we said a strong black woman, we working with her husband, taking care of the family, taking care of the kids. Now it's more of a divisive thing. Well, I can do my own thing. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's just that perception is really killing the relationship. But because men, by the way, is very few people understand that African American men are the most liberal men in the world when it comes to relationship. But if you see it on television, people think that we're very harsh and we're very abrasive, and we're the most liberal men in the world. That is a fact. I actually learned that when I was in college, and I was like, what? So
Well, you know how they said, when did you learn that? That would be today. I've never heard
yeah,
that
yeah,
before.
out of
But
all
I
the
think of some of the countries and
yeah,
some of
yes,
the laws that are still in
yes,
place.
yes, by far.
Oh, that's so
We're the
interesting to
most
me.
egalitarian men in the world.
But this is one thing I agree on you with, and that's from my perspective. I can't speak for any other perspective, but for me, I would want the man to be head of household. I'm tired. I do enough.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm tired.
That's fine.
I do enough.
And,
So
that's
he can be
funny.
there. We
You
got
know,
somebody off camera saying the same thing. We want
amen.
somebody to come in and take care of us.
And we want to do that.
And I don't
And we want to
mean
do
that I
that.
don't want to work,
And we
but
do.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
But you know what? I feel that it's more of out of
Sure.
necessity
I agree.
than
I agree.
us really wanting to. I hear a lot of the younger
Uh
ladies.
huh.
I'll give you a prime example of my son. Okay, I raised him a certain way. So he opens doors with ladies.
Right,
I
right,
taught him that.
right, right.
And he said now if he opens a door for a woman, he gets a stare. They looking at, and
That
but
is
after I heard him say it,
sure,
it came from a
sure,
lot of other men that said
sure,
the same thing. They
sure,
was like, I don't want to open the door for her because they look at you
yeah.
like, why you open the door for me? And I'm like,
I get it
it's
all the
just
time.
coming. You get it
I get it
also.
all the time. Say for example, the other day when I was in a store, a Dollar Tree, and
Okay.
so the young lady had some things in there. And I said, "Well, go ahead and I'll pay for it." It wasn't much, but what they say: never look a gift horse in the mouth. And now people was like, "No, I got it. I got it." No, no. I almost have to beg people to pay. Young ladies to pay for their things.
What
So
time?
that
Now, what time you gonna be in Dollar Tree? Next time you gonna be in Dollar
yeah, don't
Tree?
y'all be following me. Y'all see my truck. Y'all be following me wherever and stuff. But yeah, so and that's what frustrates men. Because we want to have that chivalry. We want to be the man. It's not necessarily the harshness of being a man. That basic common courtesy and that respect for the woman. We want to display that as well. But when we do, it's like, come on now, what do y'all really want? So,
Is it a age difference? Is it the
um,
age difference?
Yeah, it's an age difference. It's now the older women they would they get it. They get it. They get it. They
Okay.
understand because they were raised the way we were. But I think it is the younger generation, young ladies that, more of the
Because I read
independence.
once on Instagram, and if they see this, not they'll talk about, but she was like, "I am the man that I wanted to marry," and I was that's what the code was, and I was like, I'm not. I could never be the man that I wanted to
Right,
marry,
right, right.
because he has to
Well,
be something different.
sure.
I feel like.
Well, we grew up in a different time, and not saying that it's an excuse, but there's certain things that was hammered in
Psyche.
our psyche, and we were all given the same messages. And I talk about this even in our growing up. There's certain things that I can say to you, you can relate to me. Like when you were growing up, there was a girl code. You don't leave the sisters at the club by herself. You
Yes.
make sure that if she's dating a dude, y'all gonna follow home. She gonna turn on the light. She gonna call somebody. That those type of things that we're talking about, those are codes that we grew up in, especially the African American community. It was unspoken rules. And so these young people, the
Yeah,
younger
they don't
generation,
care.
have not been told those unspoken rules. And if they do, they hear so much of the other stuff. And I think that's where the conversation and the confusion is coming about.
I see, but those are good answers. One of the other questions is, for you,
You know?
is cheating a deal breaker?
Oh, whew. Why you put me on the spot? If I was singing, man, ask me that question. But no,
Huh?
no, it's not.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. Because sometimes a relationship has to be bigger than you as an individual, the way you feel.
Thank you.
And so many times we get into, well, I want to be, it's all about the family unit. It's all about people are going to make mistakes on one side or the other, and sometimes that's what make the relationship stronger. I was in a Dollar Tree again, golly, and I was talking to a preacher wife, and all the older generations are married for 40, 50 years. But they had situations, but it was something much bigger than their individual feelings. So I have so much respect for that.
Even, you know what I think about? I remember when I was younger, and I was like, okay, if he cheats, then it's over.
Right.
And then as I got older, I've learned. I've dealt with a lot of people. I've met a lot of people. I've seen a lot
Right,
of
right.
relationships, and there's always that girlfriend in your head. If he do this, then I'm gonna leave him. But sometimes, like you said, it's bigger than that one moment.
You're right.
You got 20 years, or it may be more than one
Right.
moment, but it's bigger than just that. That there's a whole relationship. There's a family dynamics.
Yeah, it is.
I love him and I want to
Right,
stay,
right.
and this is what I always tell people: if you want to stay, stay. If you want to leave, leave.
You're right.
It's up to you. But don't worry about Sally Sue.
You're right.
And
Wow.
I feel
Wow.
like that you have to, and you don't owe anybody explanations
Right.
for you staying, because that same person that said I wouldn't do this
Right.
has done it, maybe doing it now, and not
Right.
speaking of it.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why I wanted to get a man's opinion about something, because sometimes we, as women, and this is one of the craziest things to me is, we as women go ask a woman about a man when we can, I think that we know what they're talking about, but you need a man's perspective.
Right.
I think they understand each other better. I think because I'm sure I understand women better than I do men. I do have some concept, because I feel like as a Gemini, that man trait
Yeah.
is in me. Because when I was younger, I was something else. So,
Was
but
hey,
mature.
WAS?
He's silly. Anyway, but that's my thing. Is maturity,
Yeah.
and you have to learn. Some men don't mature.
Right. Right. Right.
That's a
And you
fact.
know what? And we have to get back to accountability too, because we all know what you're getting into. We already know when we start a relationship. You already know
Yeah.
what time. If he's a cheater at the beginning, he's gonna be a cheater at the end.
You really think so?
You said you want a man's perspective, right? Okay, then that's what you're gonna get. And now on the and vice versa, and because people rarely change. I mean, hey, you see
But
what he did,
I was speaking from experience.
right?
The Xandra, maybe I would say about 10 years ago.
20.
It,
I'll give you.
it's not the Xandra
Sure,
now.
sure,
So,
sure, right.
so I'm speaking from experience,
Yeah.
but that's not everybody. But I think I matured.
All right.
Some people
Yeah.
do not,
Yeah,
and
some
some
don't.
do.
And you know, and I'm a prime example. I hope my wife isn't watching this. I'm a prime example. But you know, after a while, when you do get that family, you start settling down. I mean, because when I was single, you know me, I was at the club 6 days a week. I would drive to Atlanta back and forth 3 days. I mean, 3 times a day just to go to a party. But, you know, with my new family, you know, you start settling down and really start realizing that it's bigger than you and your selfish needs. Because you're an entertainer, you can go and party. But at the same time, there's a responsibility that I felt that I grew into.
Okay.
Yeah, I could stay tonight, but no, I have a family home. Now I want to come home, you know.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you grow into those things. And I think when we're talking about relationships lasting, you have to allow one another to grow. If you're starting in a relationship at such a young age, you got to allow that person to grow into that relationship.
And the
that
worst
you love.
thing is, to me, if you stay and you decide to stay, don't keep bringing up, but you did this, and that there's not a point,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you can't let it go, it's not going to work. Or if you stay together, it's going to be miserable.
Right. Yeah.
If you stay,
You grow.
stay and build.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't stay and keep breaking down what you used to do.
You know, we go back to the basic things of truth and just being honest with one another. And if it stays on that foundation, I think you can mend those situations where if one individual cheated, because at the end of the day, it's all about being honest and truthful. Everybody know where we stand. And I think one of the further things while the older generations stood together, because if that man, he might have been this and that, but when he passed, that woman that stood by his side, she got everything. And to see, she got his insurance, she got the legacies, and so that's what I said. That's what I meant when I said you got to look at the bigger picture. She might have went through some stuff, but I promise you, that man, she was taken well care of. If he passed, she got everything. And so, you know, there's a give and take. And so I just want to show that aspect of it, because sometimes when we prematurely jump out of a relationship, you take all he got and you don't get anything. You don't get any inheritance because, you know, the separation has occurred. Now the kids are in a divorce home. So, you know, it can have a negative backlash on it when we just abort the relationship so soon.
But of course, but there are some things that are not forgivable. We have to
What
look
would
at
you say
that.
that would be? What would be unforgivable in a relationship?
I think if someone had an affair, who the affair was with.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it was a
Yeah,
family
yeah,
member,
yeah,
if it was
that's a hard one to get over with. Yeah, no,
yeah,
say so.
that I think I can't see coming back from that.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, if it's maybe, and it's never right to cheat or anything, but we're just talking about in the whole this. He cheats, I'm leaving. Each person there is a different situations, and so you can't give anybody advice on your part, because
Right.
your relationship isn't the same as
True,
theirs.
true.
You don't know. It's like, how can you say just because Sally a relationship may work out and yours didn't, but
Right.
everything is an individual thing. I look at it.
Now-
Some people might stay, some go, but it's up to
Now,
you.
I hear this quite a bit, and I want to hear it from a lady's perspective. I've always been told, if you're in a relationship, never take advice from your single friends or a person that's not in a relationship. How does that flow as far as a woman? I guess I'm asking the question. I'm feeling like the host, but anyway.
Okay,
But
no,
I'm
but
just
you
curious
know
about
what?
that.
I really believe it's true,
I think so.
but a lot of people take advice from me because I'm actually going through this situation. But I was right. But you know what? I think the difference is some people are jealous of your
Right, right,
relationship,
right.
and some people don't want you to
Your
be
true
happy.
friends.
They
Yeah.
could say, but I mostly I can't think. I want my friends to be
Right,
happy,
right,
so I'm gonna try
right,
to do something positive.
right.
But everybody's don't. So I feel that's the reason because uh, I bet you I could tell you a couple friends that say, I appreciate your advice
Right,
or
right,
something
right,
like that.
right.
But I think that's the difference is how the advice is given. Because some people don't want you to be happy. You may think they're your friends and stuff, but they're miserable and they want
Yeah,
you to be
yeah, yeah,
miserable
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So that's how I look at it. I would never say I don't know. I don't know, but just
Wow,
think about it
wow.
when you were single. Because I believe, just think about now, you knowing me. If you came, do you think you could ask me something, even though I've never been married? I bet you. How do you feel? I bet I could give
Yeah,
you good advice
yeah,
on it.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
one thing
Yeah,
I'm good
yeah.
at. So I think it's who you ask and their intention.
Right,
And
right,
and
right,
that's
right.
what it is. Because you
I
can
agree.
ask a married friend and their advice could be stupid. That's how it says people need to look at
Yeah.
who you asking.
Look,
So I think about it
it's
that
funny.
way.
It's funny though, because just to kind of give you a relative situation, I was
Okay.
a good friend of mine I've known for maybe 40 years. Me and him used to be dancing at all the clubs and hanging out. So his partner get a job out of town. So
His partner,
I mean
his
his wife,
boyfriend.
his wife.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, his wife get
Oh,
a job
okay.
out of town, and so he's like, Calhoun, come on through. So I'm thinking, hey, this boy's out. We can go just hang out at a restaurant and drink. He's sitting there, I want to stay at home. I can't wait till my wife get back.
Oh
I miss my,
my.
and I mean, we used to be out and about, but that's what I'm saying, and
Maturity.
I mean, he said, man, my wife's my best friend. Why, and I know they've been through some stuff. But as a mature person and realizing what is important, and I mean, they're just inseparable now. And I'm like,
But
dude,
see, but that's what I was
and
telling you about
it's
growth.
beautiful,
So
man.
you saw that he
It's
grew.
beautiful.
Everybody
I
don't
mean,
grew.
it blew me away.
Do I
He
know
be
him?
whining, no, he be
Okay.
whining for his wife to come back. Yeah,
Wow. Hey,
yeah,
I hope
yeah,
she's watching the show,
yeah. I
whoever
think he
she is.
knows because he called her every night and let her know. Yeah. So life is beautiful, man. But like I
Yes.
said, you have to go through something, and sometimes we give up too soon in
One
those
minute, you don't
relationships.
have to go through something, but sometimes you go
Yeah.
because
And it's very
there are
rare
some
that you
things
know.
are deal breakers.
Right.
If
Right.
I
Right.
feel like don't let anybody hit you. I
Right. Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you,
Right.
you can't because most of the time it escalates, and there are a lot of women
And ladies, don't be
not
starting no
here.
fights either.
Okay. Oh, hey, we stay here. We don't
You
start.
say
We
now.
don't
She called
start
me on
no
here to give a
fights.
male's perspective. Now what I
Yeah,
just
I am. That's why, because
yeah,
I knew we were
yeah,
just talking half of. We're gonna definitely have to do that. So if
what,
y'all have any other questions y'all want to ask, so
wait,
I ain't
wait,
gonna
wait,
do this
wait. Now
again.
let's talk
Wait a
about it.
minute. Okay,
Now
go
you know
ahead.
some women do start some stuff to aggravate men.
Let me tell you what I did.
Right.
This was the stupidest thing. I was young, you guys. I was dating this guy. Oh man, I wish I could find that man, but I was in the military. We were in Korea. We were in Korea. Oh, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon, but we were in Korea, and I was young, and I was just like, oh, because I wanted to feel love, and I was like, I wanna.
You too.
I
Woo.
was like, I think I want to break up, and he said, me too. I was like, he said, I never did that again, even though he didn't mean it, but he was a man, and that's what he said. And I was like, that's what I get.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, that
That's
was a
right.
good, but that's what
Yeah,
he said. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I remember that to this day. So we do. So I just wanted him to say, "Oh, baby, don't."
You're like, but
And that's what he's like, me
Well,
too. So that was like, I was like, okay.
but I think both men and women, there's such thing as still charm schools, and certain things, some schools of thought and how to be a man and how to be a woman. There's still schools, and I think all of us need to reintroduce those schools back into, especially our community, because just
Just if
need
a
to know.
man
Yeah,
can't open the door for
yeah,
you and you just
yeah,
said
yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
or even if it's
A
a woman,
smile, a smile.
yeah, you
You
know
know.
what? It's hard because
Yeah.
we only spoke about like which we shouldn't have because with the other communities
Uh
and
huh.
the other partnerships, we didn't get to touch on that. And one of the reasons because we don't know. That's
Right.
not
Right.
where we're at. So we're just. But I would. I'd love to. I'll try to find somewhere where we can get a that point of a relationship
Yeah,
too. So
I
maybe
think it's
next time
important.
we'll
Yeah,
invite
I would
somebody
love to.
else. But I knew it would be fun. I knew he would give us honest answers. Let me see if I have one more, but we're getting ready to go. I'm so glad you. Okay, I don't know. He don't answer this, and if he don't, I don't. It's okay because his wife might be watching. But I did get a
Come
couple
on, give me
answers for
that
you.
question.
Okay.
She understand.
Okay, if you had a chance to do it all over
Oh, you asked me
again,
that.
what do you do it? You don't have to answer
But
that question
sure,
because
sure, sure. I would do it all over again.
where you at now? You
Yeah,
would do the
at where I'm at now,
same
because
wife? Okay,
I would approach it totally different.
okay,
And by being mature, you would approach the relationship totally different. And if there's some conflict there, you're better able to give a mature advice. Now, before, when you did, it was just real abstract, and
okay.
it was just this fantasy world. But now, as a mature man, I would definitely do it again, because I
All
feel like I
right.
got more to give her, or she has to give me, in completing that relationship.
Wow, I knew this was gonna be fun. We're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna
Yeah,
come up.
yeah.
You guys come up with some more questions, but like I said, we are. I enjoyed this
Thank you. I
interview.
enjoyed it.
I
I
love
had
it.
some stuff bottled up I didn't need to get off my chest.
All right. So if y'all have any questions for me or Dwight, and we'll do another show soon. But thank you guys. I hope you learned something. If you disagree with something, write that. If you agree with something, write that. Let us
Right.
know. Reach out to us. But I'm Zandra, and I will see you on the scene. Till next time. Bye. See you on the scene.